I've officially hit 3 years on YouTube. So what does life look like behind the scenes? Let's dive into it. I'm Amanda Horvath, and I help eliminate the obstacles to getting you sitting where I'm sitting right now, in front of the camera, sharing your message with the world. So if you're ready to break through limiting beliefs and step up as a thought leader, then be sure to subscribe and click the bell to be notified every time I release a new video. There are a million things that I could talk about in this video, but for the sake of brevity, we're going to be diving into 3 specific points: the biggest win, the biggest hurdle, and next steps from here. Part 1, biggest win. My biggest win over the past 6 months is getting to know myself at a deep level, understanding my strengths, my weaknesses, and in turn, learning what team members I need to put into place in order to fill those weaknesses. So let me explain. If we rewind back in time to December of 2020, I had just accomplished the goal that I had been driving after for years. I wanted to have a YouTube channel with an online course business that was successful. And I did that. So there became this kind of existential crisis of, what do I do from here? I knew that the next step was to take my online course that I had been live launching, meaning that I would open up enrollment, students would come in, we would go through it together, and then that cohort would end. A couple months later, I would re-live launch, have more students come in and do it that way. I knew that the next step was to take it and from that model to a model where people could join at any time and be supported at any time that they came in. But there was some natural resistance that I was facing in taking my course and turning it evergreen. So if we drop that for a second and flip on over to my New Year's resolution, my New Year's resolution was to live life according to my cycle. So my 28-day female cycle. There are actually 4 phases within this cycle. There's an amazing book that I recommend everyone read about this, and that is linked in the description below, so I won't go into details about it. But my goal was to really align my life or my business with that so that I could have more energy, more feeling of vitality, and really just be able to utilize my greatest strengths. And so that was my number 1 focus. Well, moving through the first 6 months of the year, I just wasn't going evergreen. I just kept hitting walls, and I wouldn't want to do those things that I needed to do in order to either do another launch or take my course evergreen. And what I found throughout that, of doing that, was that I really started to own this concept that I am a content creator. And I know it's crazy that it took me 3 years to wake up to this fact, but it has. And that's because whenever I was just left to my own devices to kind of flow, wake up, do what I wanted to do, listen to my body, honor its energy that it had and the energy that it didn't have, the things that I would gravitate towards: filming YouTube videos and tweaking my online course to make it even better and helping the students that I already had get even more success. So that's really where I wanted to live. So knowing that, I was able to kind of take the parts of my business that I'm not really enjoying that much and start putting team members in place to help me so that I could live in my genius zone and have them live in their strength zone. So I ended up hiring someone to handle the YouTube SEO side of this YouTube channel, which is amazing, just passing that off. My editor is owning the full edit now and exporting the final video. That's the goal. We've just kind of started that part of it. And now I'm also looking for a team that is helping me go evergreen, or I've secured a team. So we're going to be talking about that in the next part of this video. Before we move on to part 2, I would love for you to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, but also go ahead and drop a comment below with what brings you back to this channel. Because as I continue to evolve and grow, I want to make sure that I'm keeping the things that you love about it. And then if you have any suggestions for other kind of content that you'd like me to talk about, or different directions or feedback that you might have about this channel, then I would also love to hear those as well. So go ahead and click like, drop a comment below, and let's move on to part 2. Part 2, biggest hurdle. As I previously alluded to in the first part, the most challenging hurdle that I've been facing at this point is taking the course from the live launch model and turning it evergreen to where it's selling all the time. The reason for that is just because I have changed the course so many times. I've iterated it every single time I've launched it. I would launch it, I would run people through it, I'd get their feedback, I'd change it, I'd make it even better, launch it again, and repeat that process 3 different times to where now there's been 4 iterations of the course. So it makes sense to scrap everything that I've previously done and start from scratch in terms of messaging, because the 3 different launches themselves, it was 3 different courses, the same course, just different iterations. And so the messaging kind of got a little bit messy. So that is where I am at. That it does feel pretty intense to go in and make these changes and get this up for you guys, but I know it's worth it. And I know I have a strong team that is going to do it alongside me. So fingers crossed, over the next 6 weeks, you are going to see this course go live and you can actually join, because let me tell you, it is oh so good and you are going to love it when it does come out. Part 3, next steps. So obviously the next step is to take the course from the live launch model and get it evergreen and scale that up to as big as I could possibly go with helping all of you share your message with the world. I am very, very excited about that and to be able to get this out there to you guys in a way that doesn't break the bank or take up tons of your time. Very exciting. Now, beyond that, the other thing that I want to be doing is to really focus on expanding this channel into more thought leadership type conversations in addition to video. Because the truth is, video is just your entry ticket to playing the game. Being an interesting character is what really draws a crowd in and gets people to follow you. So how do you navigate this journey as you continue creating content? How do you evolve as your audience evolves? And how do you just continue doing that in a way that people actually want to follow along? So I will be doing the same on my channel and reporting back to you on how I'm doing it. So that's a wrap on 3 years on YouTube. So if this video is helpful, please be sure to click like and drop a comment below. I would love to know what you like about this channel and different suggestions you might have for how to make it even better. Thank you so much for watching these videos. I would not be here if you were not there. So with that, I appreciate you and I'll see you in the next video.